Karen's husband, Duncan. I did want to let you all know that there will be a time following the eulogy that if there are those of you who wish to share a story or a memory in celebrating Karen this day, we'll invite you forward. You just have to listen for my voice because I can't see you all, and I'll let you know when it's time to do that. Duncan?
Thank you all for being here today to celebrate Karen's life. Most of you know Karen. I'm going to tell you how we met. I knew Karen being in a small town, both of us. We knew of each other. And I was enlisted in the Navy, and I had about a year left. And I was home on leave, and I went to town meeting like a loyal Berlin resident. And there was Karen sitting there, and I just went over and sat beside her. And we had to whisper because Mr. Rager would catch us. Yeah. I said, "Are you bored?" She said, "Yep." So I am too. Let's get out of here. So we left. And the romantic part is we went down to the fire station and shared a Coke. And then I said, "Hey, would you like to go out? I'm home on leave. I got some time." "Yeah." So I forget whether it was Friday or Saturday night we agreed on. I couldn't wait for that day. And we went out, and we kind of hit it off, and then we kept going and going. So my leave ended. My ship was home ported in Newport, Rhode Island. So I get 2 days off in a row, but it was shipped during the weeks, and I'd fly home to see Karen. Sure, Mom and Dad thinking, boy, I think we lost our son. So it looked like things were pretty good with us. And then I got deployed overseas for my last 7 months. And every day I would get a letter. But in the military, it isn't every day you get a letter because there's no cell phones, there was nothing back then. It was a letter. And sometimes you would go 3-4 days without a letter, and then all of a sudden 4 would arrive because she would write me every day. And when you're in the Navy, mail call is the most important part of the day. So I still have some of those letters. I couldn't get them all in the sea bag to bring them home. But I have them, and I read them. I read them lately. Then we started making plans. She met me at the airport with my mom and dad when I came home. And we kept up the courtship. And it looked like this is the gal for me. So we got married. We've been married 48 years. Started planning our family. She gave us 3 absolutely wonderful children, followed by absolutely wonderful grandchildren. Karen had many titles. She was a daughter, a sister. There were 4 sisters and a brother. She went on to nursing school, became an RN. She was a colleague to the many, many people in Marlborough Hospital in the medical profession. She knew everybody at Marlborough Hospital. Then she accepted my proposal and became my wife. We shared that life's journey for 48 years. She was, one of her titles was Mom She would beam at that. Absolutely beam when she was called Mom. Sometimes I would even call her Mom. It kind of made me kind of fall into that really love part instead of the husband part. Then, one of the things that happened, she became a grandmother. She got, we call Grammy or Graham, and she would absolutely beam when the grandchildren came by and called her that. She was a friend to so many in town. No matter where Karen went, she touched lives. She was a Navy wife. Now, my ship's company, our division, our ship has a reunion every year, and I went a couple times, and I came back one time, I said, you know, the guys' wives are all going, why don't you go with me? I'll try. Well, the first reunion she went to me with me, she hit it off with those gals. And they called us the Band of Brothers, and they are the Band of Sisters. And Neil Bixler and his wife are here with us today. As a nurse, there were many times you had a phone call. She was the medical consultant for the neighborhood, for all the friends, people in town. So, I mean, he may have broken his arm, could you come check? Karen would go, gotta go, see ya. Go down, consult, say, well, I think maybe a sprain, maybe broken, I better go to the hospital. And she had contacts in the hospital so she could get people in the emergency room past the line. I'm not supposed to probably talk about that, but she had all her contacts. To our family, she was our rock. She was my rock. She was our light of encouragement all the time. She was truly the wind beneath our wings. Karen's teachings. She taught us values. Love of family and friends. Her commitment to her family was never ending. Her commitment to her profession was just as important to her and to others. She taught us that no matter how bad things are, it always ends up okay in the end. It takes time. Be true to yourself. Life's a roller coaster, often rocky. And those of you who know me know that I can get wound up sometimes. And Karen would listen, and she would talk to me and get me calmed down. She had that thing about her. Probably a good thing that she could do that. She taught us it isn't the problem, it's how you handle it. Taught us to stand your ground when you're right, and be able to eat crow when you're wrong. She had that subtle way of her. Set your goal. If your conviction is strong, never, ever, ever give up. I'll tell you a little story. When Karen was in high school, she went to the counselor, career counselor. I want to be an RN. You'll never make it. You'll never make it, sorry. Well, I don't think you could say that, tell that to any of the Marlboro hospital staff or doctors or that know her, or anybody here that knows her. I found out one thing about Karen when we were talking about life's goals, or I would say, well, it's gonna be impossible. You never, ever told Karen you couldn't do something, or something couldn't be done. If she wanted it done, it got done. Karen started her battle with cancer 22 years ago. She went through the treatments, and she was extremely strong at it, determined to beat this disease. And she lived a pretty normal life for quite a while, and then about year 18, she started a problem with her hip. So I went to the doctor down there and said, you got problems with your hip. You're gonna be on a cane. She said, I can't walk on a cane. They won't let me work at the hospital on a cane. Well, I can put a couple pins in. Okay. When can you do it? No, we're done in plastic, you know. He said, well, I'm supposed to go to a seminar tomorrow, and I don't really want to go, and there's an operating room open. I can do it tomorrow morning. Let's do it. The doctor said, well, you won't be able to go home tonight. She said, I won't be home tonight. So we didn't have any time to think about anything. So I said, okay, dear. We'll support you. Her battle continued on as the breast cancer turned to bone cancer, and then got into her vital organs. She kept fighting. And even though her battle with cancer is over, her fight is not over. Because every time Dana-Farber, see, if you getting treated, they want to use your tissues, the samples, to continue the research. She signed every one of them, without hesitation. When they would talk, we got something new we think might work for you, but, you know, should we try it? Let's go. I want to help others. And that's the way she was. True nurse all the way. Cancer took her away from us. Cancer could never take away the memories we have of her and the love she taught us. So, it's been quite a strenuous couple of weeks here with the care and intensive care, and my family to help me, and my friends. And last night, those friends and family came up to Karen's house. I think a lot of you know that the last couple of years we spent building a retirement home. And that was Karen's baby. And that truly kept her going. So I call it Karen's house. So last night we were sharing food and drink. And somebody said, look, there's a rainbow. And I looked out, I walked out on the porch, and there was a rainbow in the northern sky. Now I know that a rainbow is God's promise, but I couldn't quite put it together, so I slept on it. And I got up this morning and I said, that's God's promise that Karen is with him, and he'll take care of her. That has given me the strength to speak here today. So, we spent many hours, Bob's got chemo, sitting there in that chair getting, and that would take, a couple hours. So I started doing a lot of research, and she didn't want to talk about her death because she didn't want me to worry. That was the way she was. And she would hide some of the medical stuff. I had to get it from my daughter, Sabra, or her sister Adeline, because they understood the medical jargon more than I did, and I would say, come back and say, oh no, everything's going okay, and then I'd find out, hey, we can find out, go in with her, so they'd go in with her, and I'd find out what was really going on, because Karen didn't want me to worry. So I came across this poem. It's titled, When I Die. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old folks that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother and sister. Walking the street beside you, and when you need me, put your arms around anyone. Give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes, and not just in your mind. You can love me most by letting hand touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Thank you for being here. Now I'm going to cry.
Hi, I'm Donna Bixler, and I'm one of the band of sisters. I've only known Karen for about 5 years, but like Duncan said, in 5 years, I have gotten a great friend, and all those that are listening to this, because my husband's taping it for the guys and the ladies, she was so special. We knew your family before we met you a lot, because she talked about you a lot. And she was so proud of you guys. She was so proud of her grandkids. And I just want to say, even though I haven't known her as long as many of you have, she has become a truly great friend, and we are really going to miss her. She promised Duncan, one of the last things she made him promise is he would continue to come to the reunions. So we're holding you to that, buddy. I know it's going to be hard, but we'll get you there. And we're going to remember her. Thank you.